everyone. Welcome. We're so excited to have you here. My name is Kate Shuda. I work here at Rocky Mountain Public Media. I am the Director of Grants and Foundations, and this has just been a joy, honestly, of a partnership for us to work with the grantees, to work with Kindle and Lorez. So we are excited to welcome you all here and excited that we're going to be doing another year-ish and a half-ish of partnership with Caring for Denver, and excited for you all to see these beautiful storytelling moments, and hopefully they are helpful to each of the organizations and getting their mission across. So thanks for being here, and let's hear from Lorez.
Welcome everybody. So great to see you all. Want to thank you so much for being here today, spending your time with us, spending time in storytelling. It's just so important because it's really what connects us all. So grateful for all of you being here today. For those of you that I haven't met, I'm Lorez Meinhold. I'm the Executive Director of Caring for Denver Foundation. Our organization was created out of a sales tax initiative to fund mental health and substance misuse and improve it in Denver. So we want to thank Denver for doing that. It's super exciting, but also want to recognize it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so it's an important time that we're doing this storytelling by lifting up stories that show our connections, that show the importance of fit of care, that reflects and affirms cultural diversity, equity, sort of the identities and values in care, which is so important. And you're going to hear about that and why that's important from all of our speakers. We also had an exciting milestone recently. We have gotten out $111 million to 221 organizations. And that's a real thanks to our board. We have some board members here, our staff, and to all of you. It has been an amazing journey to fund communities that really reflect the communities they're serving, as well as funding city agencies to do new and innovative ideas. So our grantees are making an incredible impact in the community, and we're so grateful. This is an important part of our work as well. While we fund a lot of program, there's an important part about capacity building. We can fund many organizations, but if nobody ever knows about them, nobody's going to be able to access that care. And we talk a lot about fit. Our grantees talk a lot about fit. And so storytelling is one of those great ways to lift up the stories, lift up the organizations, and really better understand their identity and their fit, and can I get my care there? And it really helps people recover. And so this storytelling is an important part of our capacity building strategy, in that sustainability isn't owned just by grantees, but us as funders. We must invest and strengthen the organizations that are doing this work so that they are there for a long time to be able to do this work. And so we've been grateful to partner with Rocky Mountain Public Media on this storytelling project, just not only on these stories, but on future stories. And so over the next hour, you're going to see some of the different short films, and they'll be followed by remarks from our amazing panelists. And I want to make sure that I thank the team at Rocky Mountain Public Media, as well as Kindle, from our staff, who helped create these videos with creativity, flexibility, humanity, really making sure grantees' voices are heard and listened to. And much thanks to the first cohort of grantees that were a part of this, the ones that you'll hear from, because they've trusted us to do this with them, to share their story, to make sure that we heard from them, got honest feedback to say, how can we do this better next time? How can we continually make this better? So grateful again to all of them. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our grantees next. I want to introduce our first one, which is Caris Community. Caris Community is a transitional residential facility offering a unique, supportive living opportunity for adults managing serious and persistent mental illness. So Caris's mission is to provide a community where people heal together. So we're going to watch that first.
Hope, community, and connection are really the cornerstone of Caris.
It's a place you can call home, and you can be at home and feel comfortable.
At Caris, our work lies at the intersections of mental health, substance use, and trauma. So we offer a community living opportunity for adults managing serious and persistent mental illness. When you come into our house, you wouldn't even know probably you were in a mental health facility because it just feels like you're entering a home.
When I came in here and walked through the doors, I immediately just kind of felt a lot of comfort and this warmth, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it just felt like this is where I need to be.
We recognize there's a lot of spaces in terms of outpatient care, inpatient care, but it's hard to find a spot where you can really come together with folks who have that shared experience. And so we really cultivate that environment where people can bond over those things and offer a space of hope and healing for them.
Living here at Caris, it's got so many advantages, they're hard to even list, really. The main thing is that it's all about the community. It's great to wake up and go downstairs and get some coffee, and there's people there you can chat with, and they understand how things are.
The community is very, very supportive. People come into Caris from all different situations. It really helped me to understand my issue.
I think healing begins when you are able to talk openly and honestly about who you are in a safe space where you don't feel stigma or shame.
You know, it's tough. Life is hard, especially for those with mental illness. It's so stigmatized, and people have been pushed to the side for such a long time. They haven't had a place where they can just be themselves. And so Caris offers that opportunity. We get a place where it's safe, and it's a place where we can support each other.
Caris is the Greek word for grace, and I think that is just so indicative of the work we do here because we all need a little grace. It's in the attitudes of the people around here as well, that there's like, this is a place unlike any other, and you feel healing in a different way. You feel hope in a different way.
Healing is possible. We say here, healing is possible today. If you come here, there is a solution. You can manage your illness.
This place has really saved my life. It's picked me up and given me so much to look forward to. It's a magical place. I love the word magical, but it fits very, very good for this place.
So I'd love to welcome up Annie Wharton with Caris Community Executive Director.
Thank you so much for being here. In the United States, an estimated 46.6 million adults manage mental illness each year. 11.2 million adults manage serious mental illness. Less than half of these individuals receive any type of mental health services or treatment. Caris is here to help these individuals and practice the belief that people who experience mental illness can live satisfying, independent lives while learning to manage their illness. People with mental illness are among our society's most marginalized, oppressed, stigmatized, and undervalued populations. They experience a range of societal abuses, including barriers to healthcare, lack of employment, difficulty accessing and maintaining adequate housing, and discrimination. There is a critical lack of affordable mental health treatment options for individuals who are not requiring hospitalization, but who are not yet ready to live independently. The cost of psychiatric hospitalization in Colorado averages about $2,400 per day. The cost for a community member at Caris is less than $22 per day. As Lorez mentioned, our mission is to provide a community where people heal together. It was following World War II that Great Britain discovered that veterans experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder could recover significantly in communal environments. It was this approach that helped shape Caris's therapeutic community model. Caris has been thriving since 1976, serving over 100 individuals each year, including our community members, alumni, and prospective applicants needing support. While we primarily serve the metropolitan Denver area, we have established a national and local reputation for success. We receive referrals and requests for information daily, not only from around the Denver metro area and Colorado, but across the country. At Caris, our work lies, as I said in the video, at the intersections of mental health, substance use, and trauma. Community members have often experienced homelessness, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, an inability to maintain consistent employment, dysfunctional relationships, suicidal ideation, drug and alcohol abuse, and isolation in institutions. At Caris, we take an innovative approach to address mental health challenges. The program offers a secure, structured, and supportive environment that is conducive to healing and growth. Community members can stay anywhere from 6 months up to 2 years and can benefit from their fellow members' peer support as well as the clinical services offered by our staff. Recovery goals typically include managing and reducing symptoms, gaining coping strategies, developing life skills, and engaging in healthy relationships with others. At CARES, we do charge a small monthly fee that is considered extremely low-income housing, and it helps to teach the accountability, financial awareness, and integration into the mainstream of life. The program fee includes lodging, 6 meals a week, household supplies, utilities, clinical services such as individual check-ins and groups, as well as community activities. Other therapeutic communities charge upwards of $10,000 per month, making our commitment to accessibility and affordability extremely unique. During community members' time at CARES and after completing the program, they often find employment, avoid costly and traumatic hospitalizations, and strengthen their relationships with others. Our vision is to create a world where people with mental illness can connect with others who understand their experience and can support their growth. Thank you so much to Caring for Denver for taking the time to learn a bit more about our community. This video has been amazing. And thank you all for being here.
We do have tissues around for when we all will. So our second story is from 360 Arts. It was established in 2016. The Think 360 Arts Creative Aging Program seeks to improve the lives of older adults through arts education. And specifically, the Creative Aging Program uses arts as an effective vehicle to help improve the well-being of older adults.
Creative aging is this concept that views creative engagement as the key to having like a joyful, meaningful, successful older adulthood. For a lot of your adulthood, you're paying your mortgage, you're raising your kids, you're putting food on the table, and a lot of people kind of put creative expression away. And so once they reach kind of 50, 60, and their lives start to loosen up a little bit, they have the chance and opportunity to really open back up this concept of themselves as an artist and explore it anew.
Programs like Think 360 allow artists to go in and help build a community or work with a community. I especially like it if there's interaction, to see people meet each other that they haven't met before.
So you could probably see in this class, none of these people knew each other before it began, but everybody's walking around, they're supporting each other, they're filled with joy at each other's accomplishments, they love seeing what everyone else is doing, and it creates this real sense of community and belonging.
I think it gives people confidence that walked in and said, I really don't know about clay. I don't think I can do this. And then they do it. It's like, oh, neat. You got to have a little bit of confidence. Makes me feel good too.
I would never have thought I could have done this. And she just walked us through it. It was fantastic. Totally this self-confident. I feel like now I could go out and actually take a ceramics class. When I'm here, I am able to forget any stress I've had during the day, and I am here 1 hour, focused. It's like I'm in a meditation class. It's so therapeutic.
The last creative aging class we did, a woman, she was probably in her 70s, and her daughter had just died. And she was filled with grief, and she wasn't sure how she was going to get out of that grief. And she said that she was looking in her closet, and at the very, very back of her closet, she found a box, an old box from when she was in college that had paintbrushes and paints. And it sort of sparked in her this idea that maybe painting would be the way out of that. And she came in, and just through this process of like being with other people, of tapping back into that part of herself that she thought she had lost, it really gave her a way to reconnect with the world.
It takes you out of that day-to-day grind of bad news, maybe some good news, but takes you out of that place for a moment and puts you into a place that gives you a little bit of spirit.
Okay, now I welcome up Daisy McGowan, the Executive Director.
Thanks, Lores. Yes, I am Daisy McGowan. I'm the Executive Director with Think 360 Arts for Learning. And while I've only served in this role for 4 months, our organization just marked 60 years since our charter in 1963. I want to thank Caring for Denver for the support for this project, Rocky Mountain Public Media for this wonderful production and this platform. And it's really an honor to be here with all these other wonderful nonprofits doing such important work. I want to acknowledge our team, our amazing team at Think 360 Arts, Jen Kubik, who's not here with us today, who was actually in the video, Juliana Fajardo, El Hong, Zara Abdullamir, Alex Oves, and our featured teaching artist, who was also in the video, Brenda Jones, is with us here today. So a little bit about Think 360 Arts Creative Aging Program. We established this in 2016 with a vision to improve the lives of older adults in our area, across the area, through meaningful arts education. In that first year, we served 65 participants, older adults, and by 2020, we had served over 600 participants. And since 2020, we've realized 100 residencies, and these are across Denver Metro as well as in underserved rural communities, and we primarily serve lower income communities. You saw in the video, we partner, we collaborate with our host sites, so it's not just a dropping in experience, it's really a collaborative process. For example, with Denver Public Libraries and Amy Delpo, who spoke so eloquently in the video. Our program works by bringing high quality arts programming to a multitude of communities that serve older adults. And very importantly, by training and preparing our teaching artists to work with older adults, and by fostering lifelong learning, of course, within our communities served. Some of our most popular programs include storytelling and memoir writing, hands-on visual arts such as ceramics that we saw here, drawing, painting, and seated movement and dance is also growing in popularity right now. The Creative Aging Program uses arts as a powerful vehicle to help improve the health and well-being of older adults throughout Colorado. One amazing thing about Think 360 is the robust research that we contract and implement for each of our residencies, which we define a residency as 3 or more sessions working with a highly trained teaching artist. And so it's much more than an arts workshop. As you might think, seeing this, it's a one-off. It's a sustained experience of true learning and at a high level of arts quality. So our researchers, though, focused in on many different areas, but particularly looking at our mental health outcomes, the impact of our programs. Research evaluation consultants found that our participants from our most recent round, funded by Caring for Denver, reported on many measures, positive mental health and isolation changes, including more connection, which was 84% of our participants, and decreased loneliness, 52%. You can imagine coming out of the pandemic, this is more important than ever. And certainly has been throughout this time for all of us, but certainly for older adults. Our older adults also provided our evaluators numerous stories of socializing, finding community, overcoming social barriers, sharing life stories, and helping one another during the programs. And then almost 3/4 of our teaching artists, 73%, provided examples of adapting their residency activities, teaching styles, pace, word choices to better meet older adults' unique needs, challenges, and interests. This is something we're very dedicated to and is ongoing. We're honored and grateful to have the support of Caring for Denver again for this wonderful creative aging program. We're growing it right now. As I mentioned, we are across Denver Metro and also statewide, and we do that with additional support from the Next 50 Initiative, Colorado Creative Industries, E.A. Mickelson Philanthropy, and the National Endowment for the Arts. So it's really an honor to have the support, and we hope to continue to be able to do this work. Thank you.
All right, our third story from the Don't Look Back Center. The Don't Look Back Center was created in 2018 to empower socially and economically disadvantaged women, trans women of all racial and ethnic backgrounds to break the cycle of addictive patterns.
Doesn't matter what state of mind you're in, what physical state you may be in. When you come here, when you walk into the Don't Look Back Center, you're going to be treated the same. I think you deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. Well, my name is Corinthia. I am the founder, executive director of the Don't Look Back Center. What inspired me was actually my personal lived experience as being a woman of color, a woman that was struggled with substance abuse and mental health. All those experiences collectively, when I got out of prison, I wanted to give back in some type of way, and I always like to help people. So that's where it started. First of all, we're gender responsive, so it's specifically for women, and including, so that's cis women and trans women. And then when they meet the team, most of us have lived experience, which is, I think is, I want to say is a plus, because they're like, okay, you really do understand what I feel like right now.
To be able to be that person for people that I never had, and to be able to look at, okay, what barriers did I face when I was trying to get sober? What was the help that I needed? What were the supports that I needed? In what ways did the system fail me?
So here at the Don't Look Back Center, I think the most important resource that we offer is having care management. And that is just having someone next to them side by side to help them reach smaller goals. We help them get clothing, hygiene. We offer a cell phone. Cell phone is very important because nowadays in life you can't live without that, right? And usually when they get out of prison, they have to contact parole officers, make meetings, but it's also important if they put in a job interview. So we help kind of like start it from scratch.
Part of our mission is to provide like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like a place to live, a place to sleep, food and water. And we have our food pantry also, so they come in and sometimes they just want food, we're gonna give it to you. You can work with them, complete their intake or whatever that process looks like. And then you find out they don't have a place to go sleep that night. And you call someplace, most of the time you've got to call early in the morning, secure a bed. So by the time, if you're not do that, or if that person's not physically in a certain place, you won't get a bed. So it's like, okay, I'm not gonna do this no more. We're gonna have our own place. Our home, I think, is unique in the fact that we have programming or safe transitional housing for women and trans women. They end up becoming sisters, and so supportive of each other.
A lot of people used to seek me out just to talk, share their feelings. It's something that I'm proud of because I like to help people. We are a sober living home, so I don't want none of the girls relapsing, using. I like them to be uplifted, happy.
The affect that it has on someone's self-esteem, to not understand and realize that when we look at you, you deserve the same things I deserve, not to be treated like another different category of human beings because you made some bad choices. When I help somebody else not feel the pain of a no or rejection, it just overwhelms me. I just feel satisfaction, it's rewarding. I get such a feeling of I'm following through with what I was called to do. We're going back and we're healing others.
It's my great honor to welcome up Corey Brown, the Executive Director of Don't Look Back Center.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I got emotional just watching the video. I didn't get to see the video till today. Oh my God. Thank you. Well, I don't know what else I can add to what you've already seen. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be a part of, to be supported. Caring for Denver actually is what helped us get started. Thank you, Lorez. I can't even put in words how grateful I am that being able to give the opportunity and be trusted to work in the community that that's the community I came from. So coming back, rebuilding my life, being in recovery, knowing exactly what that walk looks like. I don't know if you noticed the young man that left, but having family. Okay, I said I wasn't gonna cry. Rebuilding and reconnecting, to your children when you make mistakes in life. Giving this opportunity in my heart, all the places that community collaborations. There's so many things I want to say. My team is here. I wouldn't be able to do that without them. They're over there quiet. There's our team right there. But it's also not just our team, it's family too. And you know, some of us has made some bad decisions, made some bad choices. I'm one of those women. Since the video, we've opened our sober living home, but we've also added a Mom and Me program that I'm really excited about. It's a sober living home, but it's a sober living home where women can come and keep their baby with them. And so removing barriers, again, where there's less children going into the foster care system. And it's been successful. I love the babies. And so I don't know what else I could say. I know the support that I've had. Again, with Tim, I got to mention Tim because he's been there. If I got a question or an email or something, he's been there. I love what I do. I don't have statistics and numbers. I mean, I can get them. The rest, I can get them. But however, I can get them, but I have to talk from here because that's where Don't Look Back Center started. I just felt like every time I looked back, I went back. So over and over and over and over, I kept trying to get my life together. I wanted it, but I didn't know how. I learned in my own journey that in order for you to heal, we're trauma informed for a reason. Like, you really have to go back and 5, 6 years old and all those childhood life experiences. Those were the barriers and some of the reasons that kept me from maintaining recovery, because it was easy to stop, or, you know, court ordered, or your kids wanted you to, your parents wanted you to, but there was a healing that had to happen. And so at Don't Look Back Center, we want every person that walks on our doors to understand that we see you. We know, we expect you're walking in with trauma, PTSD, homelessness, and then when we talk about life skills, like, I learned those things, basic life skills, like how do you know, when you're out there on the streets, you don't sleep. What is that? Go to bed at night and wake up in the morning? And you want me to look for a job and do all these things? And so in our homes, we're teaching you those life skills all over again. I had to do that. Being in and out of jail, being homeless, abusive relationships, unhealthy boundaries. The list goes on. I'm sure you can probably understand, or at least be able to relate to those things. And for me, just being able to rebuild my life, it was not an easy process. I tell them it was not easy, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. So the Don't Look Back Center, we started as we are a BHA licensed substance abuse treatment center, a recovery community center, and we also have 2 transitional sober living homes. So trying to embrace every aspect of a woman's life and then rebuilding in it. And then we also have a program specifically for our trans community. And from my experience as a young girl, when I first was introduced to the trans community, that is the most ostracized community that there is, even within the LGBTQ+ community. And so we have programming for that. And again, our Mom and Me program. Our list, I can go on and on and on about our programs. So we have Active Detox. I'm also a substance abuse counselor. And I got to say, like, not just with me rebuilding my life, our team members, like most of us have lived experience, or we have a family member with lived experience. I look at, sorry, this means so much to me. And the support that I have, I look at one of our ladies back there. I'm gonna call her out, Christy. Like she's a graduate. She graduated from our program, and now she runs the houses. Oh, thank you. He said he'd be there for me, right? And my sister, my niece are here. They're part of our team. Tiffany, thank you. Just thank you for everything. And I have to say one more word, and then I'll be done. I was just thinking about all the support that I've had, and people believe in me, and then them trusting me. And when you reconnect with your children or reconnect with your family, and you're out, I'm in the community, giving back to the community that I helped tear down or helped tear apart, and family, and understanding generational and historical trauma that happened, and learning how much of an impact that had on my life, my family, my siblings, and our children and grandchildren. So trying to break those generational trauma. And so we can all grow and heal. And then I gotta say my husband, who's back there, has been a support. He has been through the good, bad, and ugly with me. Listen, and starting programs and hanging in there until we can get someone that said, okay, we see you, what you're doing, and we're gonna support your mission. So I just wanna say thank you again. That's all I have. So,
This work's all about heart. And so that's the important part of this, heart and connection. So thank you, Corey. That was beautiful. So our fourth story is with Muslim Youth for Positive Impact. Muslim Youth for Positive Impact's mission is to empower youth with the Islamic identity and principles to make a positive impact in their communities. Their mental wellness program is a youth-centered mental health support program by and for Muslim youth and their families.
There is a huge disconnect between what Islam teaches and how the topic of mental wellness is being approached with the youth, and a lot of their grief stems from lack of connection within their Muslim communities.
Mixed with raw emotions, an imperfect man with flawed devotions, a confused soul stuck with wrongful notions. I don't claim to know who I am, but through my trust with Allah, I have stuck to God's plan. So to talk about sorrow is something hard to dwell on, realizing that time is borrowed and people who follow wrong messages are to those I sell on.
This is the reality of so many youth who feel paralyzed in how to approach their struggles. We need that connection. We crave that connection.
I spent a long time on my mental health and reason to believe, spoken with many people to seek help and be free. We break kids out of this cycle. The potential lives we save are vital. Or start small like saving orphans from homeless, destigmatizing and creating change for the hopeless.
I want you guys to be understanding that this is a bit difficult for me to speak about, given that we have so much stigma in our community around mental health.
In the rain, soaking wet, drops like my tears help me today to stay safe and on my way.
The first day of school, the way people looked at me, look at the shy kid, he just came from Afghanistan.
In the rain, soaking wet, this can't be, Allah is one, can't you see?
Unfortunately though, for me, it wasn't just school.
In the rain, soaking wet, some say the truth and others can't take a hold of you.
And I was reading through all those messages. You're stupid, you're weird, you're this, you're that. And these are moments where like tears are just pouring down my eyes and I'm just in such a vulnerable position. I was like, enough is enough.
In the rain, soaking wet, don't go or else the world will fall apart without your heart.
The biggest lesson we can take from my story is we should not let youth get into those vulnerable positions like I did. And that's why I firmly believe in MyPie's message, in MyPie's recommended solution.
MyPie has 4 goals in the way of mental health for Muslim youth. Number 1 is access. Make it easy to get it. Number 2 is trust. If we cannot trust each other, it is going to be very, very hard to find a space to grow. Number 3 is breaking stigma. If we are struggling and we are ashamed for it, it is not going to be easy to heal. Number 4 is empowerment. Let the Muslim youth be Muslim youth. Let them find their voices, let them be strong, and let them know that the solutions are within this beautiful deen.
Understand that our religion is a religion of action. We have to be about that action. Pay attention to your children, pay attention to your community, and reinforce the benefits of mental health and behavioral health services. I pray that you take this as a cautionary tale, as well as one of success, and hope that your children can get over the struggles that they may be experiencing. So let us please take action while we make dua. Jazakallah khair.
So I'd love to welcome Homa Babak Ibadi, the Executive Director of MyPie, up.
Last night, I laid outside, testing the stars if they had passed the time of hardships, the time of dependability, the time of sadness. I wonder why some stars suffer more. I wonder if they all know how it feels like to suffer. I wonder if they had to suffer all at the same time. I wonder if some had to suffer more. I wonder why some are so mistreated. They live life so barren. They live life so lonely. They live life so, they can barely shine. They can be barely glitter. They live life so barren. They live life so lonely. I wonder what their punishment is. I wonder why some have to suffer more. I wonder if that's just life. All right, hello and good morning, everyone. And I'm not sure if it's afternoon yet, but not yet. Corey, every time I watch the video, and I've watched it a few times as we were doing the edits, I get emotional and I get really touched by the story of the youth and what the youth have had to go through. I wrote the poem when I was in 8th grade, when I first came to the United States from Afghanistan, and thinking, not knowing why I didn't fit, right? Why I did not feel like I belonged. And then, so at that time, as difficult it was, I didn't feel like I had community. And coming to the United States was very, very challenging. You just get to leave everything behind, right? So as I went through high school, college, got my degree in computer science, worked for some years, and then I started teaching Sunday school. And I saw that these youth were going through the same thing. Nothing had changed. And it really broke my heart. And at Sunday school, as I was teaching, one day, one of the students came to me and said, I was contemplating suicide, and this class saved my life. And that was the same week that I was actually thinking about going back to work. I took some time off with my little kids, and then my youngest was ready to go to preschool. So I said, I'm going to go and get back into the workforce. So getting this card, and I told my husband, I was like, just give me 2 years. I want 2 years to just be able to see if I can do anything for youth, and to build some community around. So we started Muslim Youth for Positive Impact, and we started with the mentorship program. And every mentee, every young youth, we started with 15 at the beginning, where they were assigned to a young adult, young professional adult Muslim who had gone through this, and they wanted to be there for someone else when they had no one to be there for them. So they knew the importance of this. Within our program, within the first 4 months, 2 youth needed mental health therapy. So we assigned them. We looked for the most culturally responsive therapists, and we assigned them. And within 2 weeks, the parents were like, "This is not working." They're hearing things that are really go against our values. This is making things worse. So then we started, we're like, you know what? There is no mental wellness program really like in Colorado that for Muslims. We're going to start our own. And so that's where, if we started, Amal, who I wish would be here today with us, and you saw her in the video, she did an incredible job. She, just came right and stood up and said, I can do this. And we start, looking for support. And we were so grateful and blessed to find Caring for Denver. We were introduced to Lorez, and who believed in our work. And I never shy to say Caring for Denver is probably our favorite supporter, our favorite funder, because they really see, they listen, and then they really showed up. And to start our program. And we've been, we started, if you see from our logo, the bottom arrow is really us taking care of the youth. And one day with one of the youth, we were doing an outreach program at one of the schools. And on the board, I was standing in the waiting room, and I read a quote, and it said, "The brightest star is the one that shines for the benefit of others." And if something clicked, and I said, for the youth, and I said, we're going to do more programs where the youth and I would take care of the youth, but the youth now have to become part of the positive impact, and they give back to their communities, and they're part of the solution. So we started another couple programs like Pathways to Success, where youth are leading programs. And then also another ongoing one with the refugee community, what's called the Adopt a Family program. We assign a youth to a refugee family that has just come to the country. And then the youth are trained as navigators, and they really help the families get connected with resources and really helping them feel at home away from home. So a lot of different services that we provide there. And I would love to say that it was, for us, it was accidental. But one thing that we found through this research is that for us, it became like a holistic program. That when the youth went to really service and to really be with the refugee families, what they felt was peace inside. They felt comfort in themselves. And really, truly, that came, like the brightest star. So not only are they the brightest star because they're for the benefit of others, but really, and research even shows this now, is that if you are there for the benefit of others, it actually fills you in, right? It fills your bucket. So for us, we've been just incredibly grateful to be able to come, to find it accidentally or to find it with intentionality. We've come to really holistic programming within Muslim Youth for Positive Impact. We're really grateful for Rocky Mountain Public Media for really doing the production. Amal and I were pretty picky. We did a lot of edits and such, but it's incredible. and the edits were more like our youth. So like you heard in the video that we have 4 areas of breaking stigma, right? Trust, and then empowerment, right? And then the thing that we really needed to do is the breaking the stigma. Right? So the breaking the stigma, some of our youth were there, but we're not all the way there. Our youth had actually gone through and described their experiences in a way that later they thought maybe the community would not be ready to hear it. So we were careful of what we put in the video and how much detail we had included in there. So that's why the edits. But we're grateful for Rocky Mountain Public Media, and then also for caring for Denver and for everyone that's here. And really, I see this room is full of stars. I see the organizations that I'm here with. These are the stars that really shine for the benefit of the others. So thank you for being here.
All right, so now we're gonna move to the question and answer. So I'm gonna invite all of our storytellers up to the stage. And it's gonna be an opportunity for the audience to ask some questions as well.
Is that the cue? Sorry.
No, it's all right. So we also have Monica and Ramel with some microphones that can sort of run up and down when you have that burning question, because it's being recorded. So we want to make sure everybody can hear your thoughtful question. But as you all warm up with your questions, I will start with one of my own. So welcome, thank you for sharing your heart, your soul, your stories. Again, it was amazing. So what is, when we think about this, I mean, individually we're all doing work, but together, we're stars together. So maybe if you'd like to share, what's an important way that maybe we all can make a difference in this space, in your opinion? Somebody want to go first?
I can start. I guess I thought I would get that sitting next to Flores. One of the best things that one of our team members had actually said in a video we're doing, and I really contemplate on that, is something that we can do is to show up. And when you show up without judgment, right? To show up with an ear to be listening, and to show up with a heart that is ready to feel. And really, for us, we have a lot of volunteers, Laura's. We have a lot of people in our community that are ready to serve, that are ready to make an impact. And they show up, and that's what makes a huge difference for us. And as part of that journey, it's, that includes individuals at different levels. Not everyone can show up in person, right? But you show up to the cause as being a sponsor, as being a donor, as being a funder, as being as someone that shares, stories on social media for others to hear and show up. That's one thing that I would say.
Sure. Daisy, you can go if you were raising. Were you raising your hand? Yeah. Okay. You sure? Yeah, you go ahead.
Thanks. Well, I was just resonating with what Homa shared, and I was thinking of showing up and really embracing life as a lifelong learner. So we think a lot about learning in our organization, whether you're a teaching artist, you're on the staff. Many of our teaching artists have been with us for over years. A supporter, someone in the community, just to be curious, to ask questions, to meet people where they're at, to ask those questions and really listen. I think that's something we can all resonate with. So that idea of showing up, it can be on so many levels. And truly, we can't do this work unless people show up. So that's critical.
don't know what to add to that. I think just trying to think of something that wasn't already said. Showing up, being a good listener. You can go to our websites and look. You can donate. There's we always accept donations. We have babies, we have children, we have hygiene. They need clothes, shoes. Be amazed. We've literally had some ladies that, I'm going to be honest, that we have found in our parking lot sleep. And we had to go out there and throw some stuff away and bring her upstairs, get her cleaned up, showered up. So those are the things that we could use for people to just show up. And without judgment, I love that. With no judgment, compassion, just show up. No questions asked, just do it.
Yeah, I think for, is this on? Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. Testing. I think for us, it would be, I think of getting outside of your comfort zone and in tandem with that, talking about it, right? So I'm a believer, mental health impacts everyone. Everyone should be taking care of their mental wellness, and I see that bleed through in so many ways, and we try and as a team, lead by example, talk about our struggles, talk openly about our therapy, and just let people know at our community level, at alumni, prospective applicants, that we're all managing something. And if we can get a little uncomfortable with some disclosure, talking about it, that's going to be key to destigmatization. And then we can get more support. Maybe more people will show up if we're talking about it. Maybe more people will also be vulnerable if we can do that ourselves. So.
Are there questions in the audience? Because I have a whole list. I'll keep on going. There's no stopping me. All right. So, we've talked a lot about stigma, but it seems sometimes, in our work, there's a lot of misconceptions. So what are some common misconceptions people have had about your work?
Open my mouth. Okay, so I think some of the common misconceptions that I can think of for us is that kind of like people don't want it. They're not. I always say people are just not ready. But why do we keep helping that same person that keeps doing the same thing? Addiction, mental health, dual diagnosis. So it may take one person 2 or 3 times to get it, and maybe this other person 6 times. Mm-hmm. So we keep giving second chances. Where'd he go? Oh, sorry. Second chances to people. I think that's one thing. And then I heard someone earlier say meeting people where they are, because individually, like individual trauma, individual stories, and remembering that, like we're client-centered, it's about them. Mm-hmm. I think that's what I wanted to add.
I'd probably talk about kind of 2 misconceptions that connect with one another. One of them is probably that individuals and even ourselves at the beginning when we started the work, we thought the brothers in our community, the men, did not need as much healing. They were fine. They were fixed. What we have figured out and what we have found out that there's a lot of men. There's a lot of men, and there's so much big, a bigger stigma there that we're trying to address, that we're trying to reach to. So that has been one of a shocking, actually this year, that a lot of men come to us and they want therapy, which we're surprised. The other misconception is a lot of people think that and I think this is probably portrayed through media and such, is that the women are oppressed in the religion, so they must be hurting more, right? So it's, the oppression, and I get a lot of, when I first started wearing the hijab, the headscarf, my friends, I wore it in the second year of my college years. My friends were like, oh, your father's making you wear that, right? I'm like, no, my father's passed away during the war. you got married, your husband's making you wear that, right? I'm like, no, I'm not married. I didn't get married. Your brother, like your uncle, who's making you wear this? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I decided to wear it, and my family doesn't want me to wear it. They're actually like putting a challenge, like they're challenging me and telling me to take it off because they're afraid that I'll get discriminated against, that I won't find a job, that I won't fit in. So when I told them this, they're always shocked and surprised. And this was, I don't want to say how many years ago, because I'm pretty young, like 3-4 years ago. Yesterday, Laura, yes. Yesterday. But unfortunately, that has not changed still. So I think that's a bigger misconception. That kind of, those two are related, but I wanted to share that.
I think for us, it's getting us confused. So we provide a residential living opportunity, but a lot of times it gets confused with like traditional residential treatment, where at the epicenter of what we do, while we will toss in some evidence-based practices, and of course that's woven into our clinical services, we're really there to focus on the community and the connection between our community members and our staff. So I think people think, they're going to go there and it's going to be like structured from 9 to 5. And we're like, no, actually, like during the days when people have the most autonomy, and we encourage them to go out and work, volunteer, go to school, or get additional treatment for 20 hours, they come back and have a couple services at night. But we are, we're not a locked facility. People can come and go as they please, and we're really trying to support folks with transitioning to independent living. So if you've got residential treatment over here, Caris is really sitting over here right next to independence, and I think that gets a little confusing for folks when we say the word residential.
I think that often the arts are seen as, a fun diversion or something that certainly those of us who are in the arts do feel lucky whenever we get to work with all kinds of art. We're lucky, but I think there's some serious significant benefits and healing. So a misconception I would say overall is not taking it seriously as a tool, and I would love to kick it out to my team. I know we have a mic to hear from. Brenda wants to talk, our teaching artist. Yeah, I thought you'd have some wonderful things to share.
Okay, so when you say that the arts aren't taken seriously, I want to add I'll try to be really short on this story. But I've taught for just under 1 million years. And I want to just share a little story about a student that I had who at a high school was about 12 years old, 13 years old when he went to stay with his dad for a week vacation in California in a big city. And his dad overdosed, and he watched his dad die there. And he was so young, he didn't know what to do. And so he came back to our school with a lot of trauma. And that was a few years earlier, but as a junior in school, he had like 1 credit available. And we knew that he wasn't going to graduate. So they worked to put him in classes that he could succeed in, even though he wasn't going to get graduation credit. He turned on with clay and ceramics. I mean, he would skip every other class, not that he should, but he skipped every other class to be there and connect and see some success and shine among people that he could not otherwise. So he didn't. I was gone before graduation came around. I moved on, but I'm sure he didn't graduate. But I know that he felt important in that ability to make something and to discuss with other people around him. And I would say that there is a stigma about older people too. Because this program was for older adults, that we're done, we're finished, it's playtime there. But the community of stories were amazing. I mean, just fabulous to listen to someone in an assisted living situation making something out of clay and giving this long story about where she had been in Japan and how she grew up there and how she connected. It's like we forget that there's a rich history there, that maybe we're not concerned about the little tile that they make in clay, but the connections and stories that we can learn from and be and celebrate. So both of those I think are real important about the arts. I could go on and on.
No, thank you. Thank you. No, that was beautiful. I mean, what I'll just maybe add even too is what we hear as a foundation. You know, a lot of times we get, well, what is the solution? What is the one thing? And as you can see, healing happens in many spaces and places, and we have to support, because healing is as different as each individual. And how do we really approach that? And then sometimes there is a deference to the systems of care. And really what I would also say is really lifting up community voice has been something that we try to really champion and say, community knows the solutions. How do we lift those up and make sure community gets to drive those solutions, whether it's youth or older adults or women or, you know, people with significant mental illness? They should have a say in how they heal. And as Corey said, it's not one and done. People are not just recovered. It is lifelong. And so how do we support and make sure we have those tools? So I will just say I hear those a lot from, you know, we'll just say different folks that want to know what is the solution. I'm like, They're like, that's hard. And I'm like, yes, the work we do is hard, but it's important. And so really thank you to all of you for that. Any questions? Yes.
I know I'm sort of preaching to the choir here as far as,
There's a mic we're going to make you take. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Raymel. So I know that obviously we're all here because we're invested in this work and caring for Denver. You know, we're incredibly grateful for the support. But, you know, we often hear, you know, there's not enough mental health beds for youth, or there's not enough clinical services, there's not enough resources. And so how do we scale the work that we're doing, you know, in all of our respective spaces?
There's not enough. Just want to make sure I answer correctly. Oh, sorry. Did I give a really good answer? That's not. We need more funding. I mean, I don't know how else to say that. To continue doing the work that we're doing to create more spaces, more beds, at least from my perspective. And I'm the director, founder director, but I'm also a counselor, a therapist, a teacher as well. So I provide direct services too, so I get to stay connected and see like what's needed. And sometimes things get limited because you have to make sure that you continue your infrastructure, you know, that you make sure that you have payroll, that you're able to keep the lights on and the building open to even start their services, let alone provide continual services or a continuum of care without funding. So if you can talk to some people, let me know.
No, and it's a fair question. I'd almost say it's more directed to us as a foundation than each individual organization. I mean, I'll just take it a little bit. But, you know, I think, you know, it is funding, and it's also learning. It's why we have, I mean, and hopefully many of you have gotten to work with our amazing evaluation and learning team, because growth does not necessarily mean success. So how do you grow with intentionality? How do you grow and not lose the secret sauce? How do you grow in a way that continues to serve community and you don't become the systems that have failed people in the past? So this is all about fit. And so how do you grow fit well? And so that's why we build. And so we will continue to make investments and lift up. And so this is why we are doing the storytelling, because it is investment in the program, but it's also investment in the capacity. Because you can see a lot of organizations that grow too quickly and lose themselves. And so how do we support the storytelling so people know and don't have to navigate as much? If I see this video, I know that's a place I can go to and I fit. How do we support that nonprofit ED development as well? So we do some of that capacity building. And then our work with Results Lab to really help build learning frameworks that hopefully don't just help the program we're funding, but the organization to say, how do we be strategic? What is the right growth for us? Because you have to maintain also the organizational culture. You have to create it so people want to continue to work there. So it's a journey, and hopefully we're on this journey together for a long time. No, your answer was perfect. Funding is what it partly comes down to too. So yes, and that's our role. And so again, how do we stay strong as partners to you all in the work? So with that, I think we are at time. I am big on starting on time and ending on time because you all do very important work, and I need to make sure that you're in community and spaces that you're supposed to be in. But again, so grateful that you all are here, that you're in the jobs you're doing, that the work is of the heart, and grateful for it all. So thank you, everybody.